learners, welcome to your favorite e-learning platform Pathshala. I'm Savita Chauhan, your mathematics mentor. Let's just start with the new chapter of class 9th and the very first chapter, which is called as. But before starting the chapter, let me discuss with you some of the questions that my friends recently asked with me. Let us suppose I'm talking about the very first question that is asked to me by my friends is, how many friends were there in the Susan's party last night? How much money do you want to withdraw from the ATM machine? What is the temperature in the Switzerland in the last week? And how much money your father gave to your little brother? So the answers of all these questions are like, there were 20 people in the party. I just want to withdraw 20,000 rupees from the ATM machine, and the temperature in the Switzerland is -2 degrees Celsius right now, but in the last week it was -4 degrees Celsius, and my father gave 2,000 rupees note to my little brother. So there is one thing common in between all the answers that I have given right now to all these questions. And what is the thing which is common is that all the answers include numbers. Yes, all the answers include numbers, as we know that the numbers plays a crucial role in the world of mathematics. So today we'll start with the number system. So let's just start the number system, as we know that there are plethora of the collection of the numbers that exist in the world of mathematics, and we have classified those numbers as various kind of numbers. For an instance, I'm talking about the very first topic, which involves the classification of numbers. So we have classified the numbers as first number, which is nothing but called as the natural number, the second kind of number, which is nothing but whole numbers, and then the integers, and then the rational numbers, and the last but not the least is nothing but the irrational numbers. So these are the numbers which are classified in the number system. So first kind of a number is nothing but the natural numbers, which are nothing but represented by capital N, and then the whole numbers, which are represented by capital of W, then the integers, which are nothing but represented by capital of Z, the rationals, which are represented by capital of Q, and then the irrationals, which are represented either by capital of I or either by R minus Q. So what is the meaning of R? We'll discuss it later. So these are the 5 types of numbers, or the 5 numbers that we have classified in the number system. So let's just talk about the very first number, which is nothing but called as the natural numbers. So let's just move on with the natural numbers first. So let us suppose I'll ask anyone about what are numbers. So the very genuine answer is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are nothing but the numbers. So such type of numbers which are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so goes on, that are called as the counting numbers or the naturally existing numbers, and such type of numbers are nothing but called as the natural numbers. So what is the meaning of the natural numbers? The numbers that start with the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so goes on, such kind of a numbers which are also called as the naturally existing numbers, and the counting numbers is called as the natural numbers. So let us suppose we'll talk about the further kind of numbers. So I hope the natural numbers are really clear to you, that what are these kind of numbers. These are nothing but the numbers that include a collection of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, which is nothing but also represented by capital of N. So let's just move on further. Let us suppose I'll add 0 with the collection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on. So whenever I will add 0 with the collection of the natural numbers, such type of the collection is nothing but called as the whole numbers. So whole numbers is nothing but a collection of those numbers which include the natural numbers along with the number 0. So let us suppose I'm writing it over here, that a collection which involves the elements like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on. Such kind of a collection is nothing but called as a collection of the whole numbers, which is nothing but represented as capital of W. So capital of W represents a collection which involves the elements as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so goes on. So such a collection is nothing but called as the whole numbers. So let us suppose I'll talk about a very important note over here. What is the important note? If I'll talk about the numbers that are starting from 1 over here, that are starting from 1, we can see that the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so goes on, these are also called as natural numbers. Okay. As we know that these numbers are nothing but called as the natural numbers. So the whole numbers can also be defined as such kind of a numbers which involves the natural numbers along with an extra number which is nothing but called as 0. So the definition of the whole numbers will be like a collection which involves a collection of natural numbers along with the 0 is called as nothing but the collection of whole numbers. So here it is a very important concept which involves a special note or a special thing that every natural number is a whole number. Every natural number is a whole number. So it is very much clear to us that every natural number is a whole number. Why so? Because we can see from this particular collection is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so goes on. These are all our natural numbers that are actually existing in the collection of the whole numbers. So it means that every natural number is a whole number. So it means that whole number is a bigger collection than the natural numbers. And moreover, it is nothing but represented as a capital of W. So wherever it is written that we have a collection which is represented as capital of W, so this collection is nothing but called as a collection of whole numbers. So let's just move on further towards the next type of numbers, and the next type of numbers are nothing but called as integers. What is the meaning of integers? Integers are those numbers which include the positive natural numbers. Yes, the positive natural numbers, or let us suppose I'll call it as a natural number. So integers is nothing but a collection that involves the natural numbers along with the 0 along with their negative counterpart. So let us suppose I'll write it over here. If I'm writing that I'll have a collection of natural numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on. So this is nothing but a collection of natural numbers. So let us suppose I'll add 0 with it. And if I'll add the negative counterparts of all these positive numbers, what is the meaning of the negative counterpart? So let us suppose I'm talking about the number 1. So its negative counterpart will be nothing but minus of 1. The negative counterpart of 2 is nothing but minus of 2, then minus of 3, then minus of 4 and so goes on. So such a type of collection is nothing but called as a collection of integers which is nothing but represented by capital of Z. So always remember the representation of the integers is nothing but capital of Z, and it involves the positive as well as the negative numbers along with the number 0. So such type of a collection is nothing but called as integer. So again, there is a very important concept over here. As we know that the numbers starting from 1 and so goes on, these numbers are nothing but called as the natural numbers. These numbers are nothing but called as the natural numbers. And when get added up with all these numbers, then these numbers are also called as whole numbers. These numbers are called as the whole numbers. So it means that in the collection of integers, we have natural numbers and we have whole numbers as well. Means in the collection of integers, we have a collection of natural number as well as a collection of a whole number. So from these two concepts, very important note we can write. The very first note is every natural number is an integer. It is all clear to that every natural number is an integer. We can see from here that the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on. These are all natural numbers and they are all occurring in the collection of the integers. So it means that the natural numbers are also called as the integers. So every natural number is an integer. Furthermore, we can say that every whole number is an integer? Every whole number is an integer. Again, it is very much clear to us that every whole number is an integer as well, because the whole numbers are starting from 0, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all the collections that are already existing in the collection of the integers. So these two notes are really very important, because we know that in the collection of integers we have both kind of numbers, that a collection of natural numbers and the collection of the whole numbers as well. So from this particular note, it is all clear to us that the integer is nothing but a much bigger collection than the collection of the whole numbers, than the collection of natural numbers. So these are the three kinds of numbers. So let's just move on further. So let's just move on further towards the very another kind of the classification of numbers, which is nothing but called as the representation, which is nothing but the rational numbers which are represented as capital Q. So this is nothing but another kind of the classification of numbers. What are those? That the third or the fourth kind of the classification of numbers is nothing but the rational number. So what is the meaning of a rational number? What are rational numbers? So let me just share a story with you. So actually, last weekend, my mother gave a whole pizza to me, and she told me to eat the whole pizza all by myself. But I wasn't able to eat the whole pizza all by myself because of my little diet. So I just ate the 3 slices out of the total 5 slices. And then my mother asked me the question that how much pizza is eaten by you? So my answer was like, I just ate the 3/5 of the pizza. I just ate 3/5 of the pizza. What it means? It means that out of the total 5 slices, I just ate 3 slices. So out of the total 5 slices, I just ate the 3 portion out of the total 5. So it means that I just ate 3/5 of the pizza. So this 3/5 is nothing but a representation, which is nothing but called as the rational numbers, which are represented by a capital Q alphabet. So what is the meaning of a rational number? Rational numbers are those numbers which are nothing but represented in the formation of P by Q, where P is an integer, Q is an integer with the condition that the denominator Q cannot be 0. So such a representation is nothing but called as a rational number, which are represented by Q. So let us suppose I'm writing it over here, that what are the rational numbers? Rational numbers are nothing but represented by capital Q, which involves all those numbers which are of the type P by Q, such that P and Q are integers. P and Q are integers with a condition that Q cannot be 0. The denominator cannot be 0. So such a collection is nothing but called as a collection of rational numbers. So let us suppose I'm talking about the natural numbers, or let us suppose I'll talk about the whole numbers and the integers. So let us suppose I'm talking about the natural numbers over here. As we know that the natural numbers are nothing but the numbers which are represented as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on. So are these numbers that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on can be represented in the formation of P by Q? Obviously, they can be represented in the formation of P by Q. How come? Let us suppose if I'll talk about their denominator as to be 1. If there is nothing in the denominator is nothing but 1. So it can be represented as 1 by 1. It can be represented as 2 by 1, 3 by 1, 4 by 1, 5 by 1, 6 by 1. So it means that all the natural numbers are nothing but the rational numbers. So we can say all natural numbers, or every natural number is a rational number, because the natural numbers can be represented in the formation of P by Q. So we can say that the natural numbers, or all or every natural number, is nothing but a rational number. So let us suppose I'll talk about the whole numbers. So what is the meaning of a whole number? Whole numbers means an addition of 0 along with natural numbers. Then this representation is nothing but called as a representation of whole numbers, or the collection of whole numbers. So we know that 0 can also be represented in the formation of P by Q. Why so? Because we can write 0 by 1. 0 can be represented as 0 by 1 because 0 by 1 is same as that of 0. So it means that every whole number is now a rational number because the collections that starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so goes on is nothing but a collection which is called as a whole number collection. So now this whole collection is nothing but a collection which is called as a rational number because they can be represented in the formation of P by Q. So we can say that the second note, every whole number is a rational number. Because of this representation, we can say that every whole number is nothing but a rational number. So let us suppose I'll talk about the negative counterparts of all these numbers. What are the negative counterparts? The negative counterparts will be like -1, -2, -3, -4 and so goes on. All these numbers are nothing but called as a collection of integers because the numbers that include a collection of whole numbers along with the negative counterparts is nothing but called as the set or the collection of integers. So this is nothing but a collection of integers. Again, I can represent each and every number in the formation of the rational number because -1 can be written as -1 by 1, -2 by 1, -3 by 1, -4 by 1, -5 by 1 and so goes on. So it means that every integer is a rational number. Every integer is nothing but a rational number. So from all these three notes, it is very much clear to us that right now the biggest collection of numbers is nothing but the rational numbers. Rational numbers are right now the biggest collection out of all the classification of numbers. That is, a natural number is a rational number, a whole number is a rational number, an integer is a rational number. It means that rational numbers are the biggest collection of the numbers that not only include the natural numbers in itself, but it also includes the whole numbers as well as the integers. So I hope this concept regarding the rational numbers as the biggest collection out of all these three numbers is definitely clear to you.